Yes. Okay. So right now we are live in YouTube. Are we recording this session yet?
I think
Um,
has recorded.
yeah, I'm gonna start recording it as well.
Okay, good. All right, so yeah, let's just give a round of applause for the committee who has already
So
made
is it
this happening. It's recording now and it's live on YouTube. I would like to welcome everyone who's here with us on Zoom and also on YouTube. Our special guest for today
yeah.
is
Yeah. Okay. So
okay.
right now we are live in YouTube. Are we recording this session yet?
Oh, okay.
I
Maybe
think.
you mute your microphone first.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna start recording it as well.
Okay, good. All right, so yeah, let's just give a. Can you please mute your microphone first?
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Okay. So our special guest for today is Marlisa. Now this is really weird. Like this might be the first time I mention your last name because I've never mentioned your last name before. Is it Supeno or Supeno? Supeno, yeah.
Supano.
Oh, Supeno. All right. Okay. This is like the first time ever I mentioned your last name. We are way back to 2001, 2002, I guess.
Yes.
We've known each other for that long. And Icha, the way we call her, is a skilled and experienced public policy practitioner who have already have more than 10 years of experience in the fields of strategic planning, strategic communication, public affairs, multi-stakeholders engagement, community development, international development, foreign policy, and diplomacy. Wow, what a great set of skills. And at present, Icha is one of the official interpreters for the President and the First Lady of the Republic of Indonesia. Now, in this capacity, she's been exposed to many leaders and high officials meeting, including G20, APEC, ASEAN, and other ASEAN-related meetings, and also for the substantial preparations of the meetings that I've just mentioned. She concurrently serves as the second secretary for economic affairs at the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Singapore. And prior to that, she was assigned as the assistant deputy director for politics, social and security affairs at the office of the Minister for Foreign Affairs, in which she assists with the preparations of policy materials and policy initiatives for major ministerial events, talking points, policy brief for the presidents and vice president of Indonesia, as well as drafting press releases and press briefing materials for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia. Wow, like she's doing everything. She started her professional career in the development sector. Very interesting because apparently becoming a civil servant is not her first job. Yeah. So she started as the program assistant in Sulawesi Road Network Development with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA. And her exposure to the pandemic preparedness was initiated when she served as the logistic manager for the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, Avian Influenza Control Program in Indonesia. Icha is also an entrepreneur or womanpreneur. She founded Manesa, a label for clothing and bag, in collaboration with many women-led small medium enterprises in different parts of Indonesia. And she also co-founded Makassar Interpreter Training Initiative in 2015, a program funded by Australia Award to enhance the capacity of local interpreters in the eastern part of Indonesia. She graduated and earned her master's degrees from the most reputable university in Australia, which is the Australian National University, getting her Master of Diplomacy and Master of Public Policy degree. So it's like dual degree. How did you do all that? I don't just get it. I don't understand. All right. So you're kind of light back person. Can I say that? How are you, by the way? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. I hope you are all too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am surviving life in Singapore,
Yeah.
but everything is good.
Oh, right. I forgot to mention one thing. Like, despite all the thing that I've mentioned previously, she's also a mother of one. So you can imagine that she's probably having like a lot of hands to help her finish her jobs. Okay. Now, Icha, I just want to ask a very simple questions. Can you just briefly explain to us what is a diplomat and what a diplomat does?
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much,
Yeah.
Ted. It's a such a long introduction, yeah.
Very
To get
long.
to the LinkedIn link, but not to mention all of them. But anyway, yeah, that's my career life for the past 15 or 16 years, because I started working. Actually, I started working when I was still at the university at the age of 19 or 20. So it's around 15 or 16 years ago. Anyway, talking about Diplomat, maybe people see that diplomat has a very fancy life.
Yes.
Our job is just to, go on events or cocktail or diplomatic reception, sipping wine and mingle with other diplomats. But that is not the thing that diplomats do. Of course, we have some of my colleagues are now at the permanent representatives of Indonesia at the United Nations, where they negotiate, where they draft policy paper or our position, Indonesia's position paper on different issues that is related with global concern. But we also have diplomats working at a mission like me in Singapore or in Kuala Lumpur or in Saudi Arabia or in Syria, where many of Indonesian people are there. They live there, they work there. For example, me in Singapore, we have 120,000 Indonesian migrant workers,
Wow,
Indonesian female migrant workers.
that's a lot.
So yeah, so prior to joining the economic division, I am now assigned at the economic division. I was at the consular protocol and consular section.
Mm.
But what I dealt with most of the time was the protection of Indonesian migrant workers in Singapore. So what I did for the past 3 years, when at the first time when I was assigned here in Singapore, almost every day I go to hospital, or I go to prison, or I go to the court, because we have some of our Indonesian migrant workers are now in prison for a murder, for many various cases. Some of them are trapped by terrorism financing, so they are now in jail. And almost every day we have calls from, I don't know, from the employer, sometimes from the police, that one of the migrant workers fell from, let's say, sixth floor, or they are sick, they are severely sick. So that's part of my job. Almost every day I go and visit them. Sometimes I go to prison, sometimes I go to court when I have to accompany, and we have to give moral support. And that is also what a diplomat does in the real life. So,
Wow.
and it is basically related with the policy, the priority of foreign policy of the current president, Pak Joko Widodo, protection of Indonesian citizens abroad. And not only me, I have my colleagues in Syria. I saw his IG post a few days ago. He just repatriated, I think, hundreds of Indonesian female migrant workers because of COVID. They don't have work anymore. So that is also part of our job. Of course, we have also, sometimes we relax and sometimes we enjoy the cocktail party or diplomatic reception, but we also work very hard behind the scene in making sure that Indonesian citizens overseas are well protected.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Wow. But very interesting, though. I mean, that's to say that my perspective on how a diplomat works, it's totally changed. Like I used to think that diplomat only works in the meeting room, and then when the break time comes, then you enjoy the wine or any refreshment that is served. But apparently, you also, go down to the street, you go to the hospitals, you go to the prisons and everything. Basically, if I can, probably simplify in sentences, that one of the job of the diplomat is to make sure that the interests of the nation is well protected in the foreign nations, and one of the interests is the state itself. Is it
Yeah.
hard to do it? Is it like really hard, challenging, or whatsoever?
The thing about the work of a diplomat is sometimes we are not really properly trained to do that. I remember at the first day when I was assigned at the consular section where I deal with the migrant workers, I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the skill to do it. I am not equipped with psychological background, for example.
Because you have to console them.
Yeah, yeah, because sometimes we have a shelter in Indonesian embassy in Singapore, and in some countries they have shelter where migrant workers are temporarily placed there before they go back, and sometimes they are depressed, sometimes they are down, sometimes we have to understand how to communicate with them, and of course maybe I have a good communication skill, but it's not sufficient, it's not enough. So I learned by doing it, you know. But most importantly, as a diplomat, especially if you are placed in citizen service, we call it citizen service, you have to have a heart, you
Yeah.
have to have an empathy,
Yeah.
because that will help you a lot in dealing with them. So I think for me the most important thing is to have the heart to serve people, and that's how you can actually adjust and you can learn day by day. Now I think I've done well enough, but I think at the very beginning, you know, when I think I when I first went to the hospital and I saw a patient, a migrant workers who were severely ill. I think she had a blood cancer. I couldn't help to, you know, that my tears were not dropped.
So you cried.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I did cry, but of course I did not cry in front of her. I have to,
That's
you know,
good.
be
That's good. Because
strong.
we cry
Yeah,
in front of her.
yeah. But then when I went back on my way back to the office, I cried, and you know, I wasn't that strong. Some other time I also see the case of Indonesian migrant workers who murdered the employer, and I saw the footage of, you know, the images. And you know, I couldn't eat for a few days. So yeah,
I can
uh,
only
we
imagine.
have to be, sometimes we have to be very tough, because otherwise we cannot survive, because otherwise it will affect our psychological, you know, too, if we are not strong enough to face that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, I think it's, you know, working in citizen service is a blessing, because not all missions of Indonesia overseas have that citizen service. So
Oh,
I am very grateful that I'm in Singapore. I can experience that for 3 years, and that, you know, that trains me a lot. That puts more confidence, and also that builds my character in a way. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know, you have a big heart. Like since years ago, we've known each other. You always have this big heart, and I'm pretty sure that you know the job suits you very well, and you suit the job very well. After all that you have said previously, I can now make a second conclusion already that when you become a diplomat, you are the representative of the nation and the government as well
Mhm.
for the Indonesian diaspora there in the foreign nations. Now that to say, you have to have the ability to think about the economic as we are from the Ministry of Finance. You have to understand the global trade and Indonesian capacity in the world trading like the Ministry of Trade. And you have to also deal with crimes as if like you're from the police department. So it's like an amazing job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of my many friends of mine joke, you know, make funny comments about me, because I was there for 3 years now, and now I'm in at the economic section, right? So many friends of mine say now Icha is becoming a real diplomat, because she used to go to prison, you know, she used to go to hospital, and now she joins all the webinars about trade, about economy, you know.
Do all the
So
boring.
you know, it's a totally different thing from the hospital and prison, and you know, go and meet all the people. Now I'm behind the desk. I you know, I join webinars, sometimes I also do discussion. So what I think, Indonesian diplomat must be a generalist as well. I
Yeah,
mean, we're not specialists, unless if you are, you know, at certain grade of your career. But because I'm, yeah, being in the ministry for 10 years, I'm still quite new. we have to be able to do many things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Swiss Army,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Swiss Army knife.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's right.
Before I move on to my next question, for all the participants, feel free to ask questions by writing down on the chat column. Leah and the other committee will help me to pick the questions, and you will be given the opportunity to ask directly to Icha, who is a diplomat, who is also an entrepreneur, who is also a womanpreneur. We will also talk about it as well, and also a mother of one. She's all that. All right. Now, I would like to ask a question. Like you've mentioned all the duties and responsibilities that you have to carry as a diplomat. What are the qualities and skills that you think a diplomat have to possess? For them to become, oh, this is a good diplomat.
Um, of course, you have to be smart.
Okay.
Not only
No
clever, yeah,
question.
but smart. Not only textbook smart, but street smart, because
Okay.
you have to be able to mingle, to socialize, to talk with different people at different level.
Mhm.
You have to have a good communication skill, full of knowledge. Well, you don't have to master all things, but at least you know the surface, like you know a bit about a lot of things. Um, you also have to, I think these are the values that I hold on to, yeah.
Yeah.
I We have to work hard,
Mm.
and we have to be honest and also trustworthy.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. If you guys notice that almost all the qualities and skills that she mentions, most of them are soft skills, right? Like how to become a really good human being, basically. All right. But I really want to know though, have does does um does your English skill or your language skill help you to land the job as the diplomat?
Yeah, I think pretty much it also contribute
Okay.
to the job.
What?
But not only, not only, of course, I think everybody in my batch, for example, we can speak English,
Uh-huh.
above average, of course. But it's not only about the English skill, yeah. It's also about our communication skill, because some people, they know English, but they cannot really converse in a proper manner, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think English must be complemented with your communication skill as well. Yeah.
So that would lead to another question though. Like you've mentioned that you have to be able to, bring a good communication, you have to be able to mingle and such. Is that one of the trainings that is, provided for all the, diplomat candidates before they, fully legitimized as a diplomat? Like, what did you learn when you were in the training before you become a legit or an official diplomat?
Yeah. When I joined the ministry, for the first 8 or 9 months, we had the training. It's called
Months.
junior diplomatic training, and we learn about a lot of things. For example, my background is economy, but I learn about world politics. I learn about international affairs. I learn about international law and also international economy. That's on the substance wise. On the soft skills wise, I also learn about table manner, um, public speaking. We had an English debate at the time,
Okay.
as well, and we also have simulation of UN General Assembly, for example. So it's as if we are talking. We are
Formal setting.
voicing the voice of the nation. So we act as if we are from different countries and try to give our opinion or our position on issues.
Like a model United Nations in a more.
Yes, yes, UN model. Yeah, that what's it called?
Oh, so that's why it took 9 months at least.
Yeah,
Because
nine.
there are a lot for you to learn.
Yes, yes. They have a curriculum. Wait, I need to see my. I need to check my daughter first.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. So I would like to remind everyone who wants to give their questions. about the life of a diplomat and interpreters. So far, we have already talked about what a diplomat does. It's very interesting because first off, a diplomat apparently they do not only work in the meeting room set, but they also, especially the one who works, who give a citizen service, they attend to the needs of Indonesian citizens abroad, like giving them protection that they need. Like Icha, for example.
Everyone.
Hi, Abel.
Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
Oh, so cute.
Sorry ya.
It's all
She's
right. It's all right. Like I say, she's also a mother of one.
Hi,
Another
everyone.
example that you have to be able to do everything when you are a woman with a great career. All right. So we proceed.
Yeah,
Bisa ya, nggak apa-apa ya.
yeah.
Okay. Another reminder. Hi, Abel.
Tadi, Om
This
Teddy
is
mau ngomong.
Om Teddy.
Ya, tuh. Om Teddy ngomong.
Belum pernah ketemu sama Abel.
Ngomong ya. Bentar ya, bentar ya.
When you're back in Indonesia, we can meet.
Iya. Ayo.
And also, we also talk about the skills that is needed, you know, or that has to be possessed by a diplomat. Among other things, among other hard skills are, you know, like you just simply have to be a good human being. And you have to have a good heart. You have to communicate.
So sorry.
Beyond that, you have to be able to strategically negotiate because what you're basically doing is defending this nation interests abroad. Okay, so basically, I've just providing a recap of what we have already been discussing. I asked you about the qualities and skills, and we've touched that. And you also talk about the training process that it took 9 months.
Yeah.
I was about to joke whether you get a degree after you graduate from that 9 months training.
No.
Because you simply learn a lot of things, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing, and I'm sure it's very useful for you.
Yeah, yeah. I used to be a very blunt person. I used to be very straightforward, but 9 months of training trained me to be now I think I am too much diplomatic. But yeah, but that 9 months training trained me to be more diplomatic in in saying things, in voicing my aspiration in a proper way.
And with that skill, I believe you've made a lot of friends. Just an instance, like anyone will love to talk to you. Anyway, now we have already learned about what you do and then what skills that you have to have. Let's say if anyone who watched this talk would like to become diplomat, how can they do it? Like, is it just submitting a application letter or how? Is it the same like a regular civil servant recruitment?
Yes, in order to do that, you have to be a government employee,
Okay.
particularly the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I think we have a general opening, um, as well as other ministry. Now, not every year, yeah, sometimes every 2 year. So you have to apply to become uh, a government employee in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but they have different category. So I am under pejabat diplomatik dan konsuler. So that one you have to choose, and if it suits your educational background, then you apply, you submit all the administration forms and everything. And if you are selected at the first stage, then you have to go through several stages of interviews and tests. So I think I had one writing test about general knowledge, and after that I had interview uh, with two panel of interviewers, and they asked me about a lot of things about my background, my job background, my education.
Most memorable questions from the
Yeah.
interview? Do you have the most memorable questions from the interview?
What I remember was actually at the time it was the 2nd of October, and I wore batik, and I did it deliberately because it was the National Batik Day, and I assumed that they would ask me that question. So when I came to the interview room, and I think I was only few of the people who wore batik that time. So one of the interviewer asked me, "Why did you wear batik?" And then I said, "Because I know this is National Batik Day." And I got the first impression. I
Yeah,
think I
that's a
I
good start.
managed to catch the
That's a good start indeed. That's a good start indeed. I think you've managed to nail the interview just from wearing batik. Is it from Manisa collection?
no. It was back then. It was in 2009, so I didn't have my own collection at the time. So
Okay.
it was just a normal batik that I
So
bought.
after the interview, is there any next process?
So after the interview, then we had the computer test,
Okay.
uh, like Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint,
Like skills, yeah. Like
etc. Yeah, that skill. And after that, we had psychological tests. So psychological tests, we have two. So one is written and one is interview. So the written test came first, and after that, the second psychological. And apart from that, we also have the English proficiency test. It's not TOEFL; it's a different uh, test. And yeah, so I think the last was the psychological interview.
yeah, it's a very long process.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
Why did you want to become a diplomat? It has always been your dream to become a diplomat.
Um, okay, this is a funny story. When I was at the elementary school, I had my friend whose dad worked at UNICEF.
Okay.
So I once asked him a question, "What is your job?" And then my friend's dad told me, "I work at UNICEF." And what do you do? And then he said, "Yeah, I do this." And I said, "How to become like you?" And then he answered me, "If you want to go and travel overseas, you can become a diplomat." And
Mm,
I asked, what is a diplomat? And then he said, yeah, a diplomat is a person who can travel overseas and do things for your country. And that's when I said, okay, I want to go and travel the world. And that's why I think that's a very simple cita-cita, yeah, a very simple dream of a girl, a young girl at the elementary school. I am from Makassar. I mean, not. I am not from Makassar, but I live in Makassar most of my life. Uh, so I think that's like a cool dream, a cool cita-cita. So when people ask, what do you want to do when you're big? Other people will say, I want to become a doctor, a teacher, and I came up with, I want to become a diplomat. But
yeah.
then, then that dream was almost forgotten because I when I started to work, I had quite a stable job, good
The
income.
international
Yeah,
organization.
yeah. So I almost forget about being a diplomat until one of the consultant at the work that I was in told me, Icha, why don't you apply for this job? And then I said, why? And then she said, because you are talkative. I think you I think you will become a good diplomat because you're talkative. You like to smile. You can talk to everybody.
You're the people person,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, and then I applied, and I was accepted at the first because sometimes many of my friends they tried to apply for several times,
Hmm.
maybe 3 or 4 times, and then they got accepted. I got accepted at the first time.
At the first try.
Of
Wow.
applying. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's just incredible. Yeah, the diplomat works not only flying from one country to another, but also visiting from one hospital to
Yes.
another.
Now I know that.
How you know that? Now, speaking of which, I'm sure during your 3 years serving and providing the citizen services, you might have, some stories to share. Stories that make you think and say to yourself that this is why I become a diplomat.
Many of my emotional experience were when I was in the hospital or when I was at the prison, or maybe during. I have a lot of things that I am so grateful uh, to be here, especially to be in Singapore and dealing with the migrant workers. We have some repatriation um, uh, efforts to try to repatriate a sick patient from Singapore to Indonesia, and it feels very good when the patient or the employer or the family or the relatives of the patient call us and say thank you. I
Mhm.
think that really satisfy. That really. meet the the purpose of us living, to be beneficial for others. And sometimes it's just a small thing, sometimes it's just, for me, it's just as simple as making phone calls to people in Jakarta, to people in Bandung, to try to link them up with BP2MI now. Yeah, it used to be BP3 TKI or Naker in the region. But it means a lot to them because we can actually try to make their health insurance Kartu Indonesia Sehat. We can provide the hospital when they arrive, and it means a lot. So I think this is my first posting. This is not my second or my third. This is the first time I am tasked to be overseas, and it's really meaningful for me for the last 3 years. And sometimes when you visit, migrant workers in the prison, and after that you can see their face smile, and they say thank you because you visit. Sometimes they are waiting for days and days to have somebody to visit them. And when you are there, sometimes we bring Quran or Bible or magazine to read, and you can see their happy faces, and you really feel that your life is, sometimes it's just a small thing, but it means a lot for other people. So I think that's the most meaningful part, and to be a diplomat. Maybe different diplomat. If you ask my
Yeah,
other friends, they will
yeah,
have different experience. Yeah, but this is my experience.
yeah.
That
Those are very rewarding moments, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah.
And I personally, I'm a tearjerker. Like, I would definitely cry in a lot of moments like that. How about you? Like, do you remember how many times did you cry during those 3 years working in that particular profession?
I cried a lot. Sometimes in the middle of the night. Sometimes if I feel like when life is difficult for me, when life is tough for me,
Uh-huh.
then when I cry, I remember, okay, lots of other people are, facing even more difficult challenges than what I'm facing. So, and sometimes, I had one patient, I had one migrant workers, the
Uh-huh.
one with blood cancer. I was there when she collapsed the first time until she passed away. So it really broke my heart because there was my first migrant workers who passed away, during because I accompanied her
Uh,
uh, throughout all the events and all the process and all the procedures at the hospital.
I think that is just another challenge when you become a diplomat. You have to have a strong heart, but at the same time, you have to have this soft heart so that you can put out empathy, toward the people that you're serving. Wow, interesting, interesting.
Yeah,
Now,
but this is not, I mean, um uh different person has different story. Yeah,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is my, maybe
different.
other people's stories are more fun. Maybe my stories are more emotional and heartbreaking at the same time.
That's relevant to the way you approach to the jobs that you have. Like maybe another diplomat would approach differently, but obviously, I can conclude that the way you approach your job is fully by heart, right? So that's why you sometimes get carried away and emotional. But the good thing is you keep it professional. You cry on your own time.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm interested to talk about the interpreting stuff. Like, how did it start? Like, is it an official assignment, or is this like when you were there and then suddenly the Mr. President need an interpreter and you were there, so that's why you become the official interpreter? Share us the story.
I think you know that I am also a freelance interpreter. So
Maybe
um,
you work for.
uh, we had this training, official training for interpreters for minister and for the president back in 2008, 11,
Mhm.
and I was one of the participants. And after that, I started to do the interpretation for the former president, Pa Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. But I was at the booth. So I'm not the main interpreter. So I was the one who interpret at the interpretation booth. Uh, I've been, I did that for 1 year until 2012, but then I went to study
Mhm.
in Canberra. And after 2 years, in 2014, I was back to Indonesia. And at the time, I actually thought that it's normal as human, you want to try something new.
Mm.
So I thought that time, okay, I've studied for 2 years. I want to use my knowledge. I want to use everything that I got from, from Australia, and I want to learn about, and I want to do something else. But I think it was about the fate. Yeah, I think the destiny led me again to the interpretation work, because I met my former boss at the elevator, and
Okay.
then at the lift. Sorry, at the lift, and then he said, "Hi, Icha, you're back already." Yes. Why didn't you tell me? And I was just silent in my heart, because I didn't want to meet you. I don't want to, work as interpreter again. That was my thinking at the time. But I kept silent. But apparently, I already got a unit. I mean, I think it's the same as in custom and excise office. We have different units, right? I was placed in ASEAN directorate at the time. And it's already confirmed until a note from my former boss came to the human resource division saying that I he wants me to be back at his unit again. And his unit was the office of the minister. So basically all the official interpreters are now, yeah, I think at the time we almost all of us were placed there, so
Okay.
that whenever there is a need or urgent need for an interpreter, we can be dispatched anytime. Because if we are placed in different units in the office, sometimes we already have our own portfolio.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very hard to leave the job immediately.
Yeah.
So I was put back at the my former unit, the office of the minister. It was in 2014, and I think it was few weeks before the inauguration of our current president, Bapak Joko Widodo.
Okay.
And my first job, I remember, was to interpret for him when he was sworn in as the president for his first term. So I
Okay.
was at the House of Parliament. I was at MPR building on the 20th of October 2014, witnessing the sworn in of the inauguration of the president.
Okay. So
That's
for
that's
you,
that's the story, and until now. But in 2015,
uh-huh.
I used to interpret for Pak Jokowi and Ibu, because we are rotated, right? We don't have a specific job, so it can be from for anyone. But in 2015, the first lady, Ibu Iriana Joko Widodo, I think she said to her PA or ajudan or protocol that she wants to have one permanent
Definitely. Yeah.
person who is attached to her, most of the time. She
Mm.
doesn't want to have different interpreter following her, because maybe, yeah, usually it's a different, it's about the convenience, yeah, it's about the yeah. And
In Indonesian
uh,
cocok-cocokan ya.
sorry.
In Indonesian cocok-cocokan.
Yeah, it's about the chemistry.
Yeah.
So yeah, somebody called me from the palace, and he said that the first lady wants me, which I am also not sure actually.
Mm.
So I said, okay, if that is true, then you have to talk to my boss, not to me, because I'm just an anak buah, I'm just a staff. I cannot say that, the first lady wants me. So yeah, so I think then he called my boss and stated that the first lady maybe prefers one interpreter permanent to be with her whenever she needs it. So in 2015, I was assigned specifically to the first lady.
Mm.
Sometimes I still interpret for Bapak if I'm the only interpreter in the room, because Pak Jokowi also knows me. Yeah, and he also feels, yeah, comfortable because I've been there for almost all of his tenure. So yeah, starting from 2015, I'm attached to the first lady until now.
Okay. Now that's very interesting. I have a follow-up question, but before that, I would like to clarify. Maybe some of us are not yet familiar with the word interpreter. Interpreter means in Indonesian is juru bahasa atau penerjemah langsung. So she works. Sometimes you whisper, to the ears of the presidents and the first lady, or also you're working from the booth for a large participant in a meeting or in a forum, right?
Yeah.
Sort of like that. Now, I want to ask you the questions like, I'm pretty sure you're involved in a lot of, big meetings and also small forums or small meetings that required you, to keep some information as a secret. I'm not gonna ask you to reveal the secrets here, but like, is it hard, to keep all those information in secret, or are you like threatened under a certain contract? If this information got out, then you're gonna be the first one we search.
We don't have like special
Like non-disclosure agreements.
yeah, no, we don't really have that non-disclosure agreement, but as a diplomat, it's part of our ethic code that we know what to expose and what to disclose from general public. And that's also one of the material in the training for 9 months. So I was equipped with that understanding since the very beginning of my life as a diplomat. But then, as an interpreter, you are also trained to have a short-term memory. So sometimes that one I put it as my short-term memory. That's why I actually don't have a very good, you know, short-term. Sometimes I forget everything because
Good, right? That helps.
yeah. But I think the more exposure we have as an interpreter, the more self-awareness we have to know which one should be discussed or should be shared with even my husband, my family, or my closest friends. Sometimes when they ask me as well, what did they talk about, but then I just talk about the funny part or
Okay.
just the sidelines part, not the substance. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I do have lots of things that I keep it. Yeah, of course. I
Maybe
just
when we
tell.
meet in person, you can share it to me. Yeah.
But I have so many interesting stories to share too. So yeah, when they ask me, I always have stories to tell. So
Can you share like one of the stories, the one that is not really a secret for us here?
um
Well, at least you talk about the vaccine thing.
yeah,
Is,
yeah, 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 yeah.
is there
So,
like another
for
story like that?
example, when Obama and former President Obama and the First Lady Michelle Obama visited Jakarta,
Mhm.
the media knew maybe around 1 month or 2 weeks before, but actually we already knew it since a year earlier.
Wow.
And Pa Obama already um, informed this to Pak Jokowi and Ibu during one of the dinner that after his tenure, after he finished his term at the president, he wants to visit Indonesia. He wants to go to Yogyakarta with Michelle and the kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you there during their
Yeah,
visit?
I was there. I was sitting behind between Obama and Ibu, and
Okay.
that's when he told the first lady.
And they have nasi goreng and everything.
Yes, 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 and the sate and everything.
Also, yeah. So it's a confirmed news, yeah. Pak Obama suka nasi goreng.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But he really said that he likes nasi goreng and satay because he mentioned that to the first lady as well
Oh,
during the conversation.
all right. Now I wanna ask you, like, I'm sure that working as an interpreter, it's a life job. Like, as in, like, you cannot make any mistakes, right?
Mm, yeah.
It's pretty much intolerable. Now, can you share, funny story, or that moment when you said, "Oh, damn, I wish I didn't say that, or I didn't do that," during your time interpreting for the first lady or the president himself? Or are you that good that you do not make any mistake?
I don't want to say that. Well, of course, there are things that sometimes I wish I should have done better,
Mm.
or I should have said something a bit more softer, or
Uh,
a bit less straightforward. But I just give this example because I couldn't remember which one.
Yeah.
Because some people say that I'm quite accurate in my
That's good.
interpretation. It's not me. It's not me. But I just tried my best. But sometimes I look at the draft again of the script and I said, "Ah, I should have said this
Yeah.
instead of this." Yeah, but I of course, those things happen most of the time. But I give you one example as an interpreter and as a diplomat. One day, Pak Presiden told one of the prime minister of which country I don't remember, but then he said like this, iya petani tembakau kita menangis karena panennya gagal, ekspornya berkurang, dan and so on so forth. And of course, I couldn't say our tobacco farmer cried. Of course, I cannot say cry, right? So I instantly try to think, okay, what is the most appropriate term or words that could replace but still have the same meaning. And I said, yeah, this put our tobacco farmer in a very difficult position that
Mm.
their harvest was failed and they could not export as much as what they did last year. And there were, of course, when we do the interpretation, there are ministers in front of us. Of course, Ibu Retno is
Judging you?
there. Yeah,
Judging you?
sorry. Oh
Judging,
yeah, with
evaluating your
the
job
face,
constantly, like.
the face, and the eyes, and all the facial expression. Yeah, and that also puts another pressure to our job. But when I said that, I saw the minister's face smile. It means that I do a good job.
He can stay as the interpreter for another 5 years.
No, thank you.
But do you enjoy your job as an interpreter though? I mean, like the pressure is high, the responsibility is big. Like, do you enjoy your job as an interpreter? What do you like the most about being an interpreter?
What I like the most, I think it's not only about what I like the most, but what experience that I have
Yeah.
compared to other people. Of course, interpreting for our VVIP is something that I cannot trade with anything else. It's a trust that they give. It's a big job. It's a big responsibility. But at the same time, it's also a very wonderful experience. Maybe with my limited encounter with Pak Jokowi and Ibu Iriana, I can say that they are very good people.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's the personal touch that also matters. I say this to everybody that Ibu is very kind. She always asks me, "Have I eaten or not?" before the job, because yeah, of course, sometimes we have to interpret from morning till afternoon, and sometimes we continue to dinner, right? So she always asks me, Mbak Ica, sudah makan atau belum? And
Oh,
sometimes, yeah,
that's interesting though. Like when will you have the time to take a break? Because when they're in the meeting, you were there to assist them, and then when they're having their break time, you're there to assist them as well, right?
yeah. So sometimes I just bring like stuffs in my bag, biscuits,
Oh,
candies,
I
whatever.
thought nasi padang in your bag, yeah.
I wish I could, but
Wow. So
yeah.
that's why Ibu Iriana asks you questions like,
Yeah, and sometimes because sometimes at the lunch or dinner they have bread, or just small snacks or cakes or tarts. Sometimes she pass it to me.
oh, that's nice. That's nice. Oh, do they call you Icha as well?
Huh?
Do they call you Icha as well?
Yeah. So I sometimes people don't know that I am Marlisa, but when people say Icha, then everybody knows, and it also happens everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So you're on nickname basis with the first lady
Yes,
and president.
yes. And the funny thing is working for the first lady, yeah, particularly for the past 6 years, because I'm always there,
Mhm.
And some interpreters are already, maybe they are posted somewhere or they are replaced by somebody new, but I'm always there. So some of the first ladies, even the leaders, already recognize my face. So yeah, that is very special, yeah, because I remember the former Prime Minister of Australia, Mr. Malcolm Turnbull.
Yeah.
Yeah, he once told me, "Hey, hello, how are you? You're now part of the family, yeah. You you go everywhere." And I just can only say, "Yes, Excellency." Yes, Prime Minister. I cannot say anything more.
How do you carry yourself in such exclusive situations? Like you're always there in a very limited and exclusive circles, right? Between
Yeah,
the prime ministers and the
yeah,
presidents.
yeah.
How do you carry yourself? Biar nggak malu-maluin gitu. Kalau gue pasti kan kayak udah like, oh my god.
Yeah, makanya itu, that's why the diplomatic training help.
Okay, okay.
Because I really try to refrain. Of course, you meet a lot of people. You see Putin, you see Obama, you see all world leaders in front of your face. Sometimes it's just like few inches away.
Uh-huh.
But I really try to be calm.
Case, you know,
Yes, of course,
very
behave.
composed.
I'm being myself in a way that I smile all the time, and maybe that's why people recognize me. A lady with a chubby, you know, chubby face and big smile, because yeah, that's what also Ibu Iriana say, that I smile all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
good. That's a
yes,
good word.
yeah, and I try to be helpful.
Mm,
For example, if they need information, sometimes they need me to search things, or sometimes other first ladies, or other people ask about
mm,
things. Then I have always my mobile phone on my hand
mm.
to search and to tell them the information that they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing for sure, when you're in the middle of a forum or in a situation like that, when Putin is just, inches away, or Obama was inches away, you cannot just suddenly ask for a selfie, right?
No, no. That's a big no. That's a big no. Sometimes I'm the photographer. I'm the one who take picture, but I cannot. That's part of the ethic code. Yeah, I cannot take
Langsung
picture.
dipecat dengan tidak hormat ya.
Yeah, take selfie. But of course I dress up. I mean,
Hmm.
I become more neat, properly dressed. Yeah, things that is the basic things, the basic requirements. Of course, I have to meet that. All of those.
Okay. One question before we move on to the questions and answer sessions. I see that there are questions already on the chatting room. We'll read that and ask them to read them themselves. I want to ask on, how is your day like? I mean, like I said, you're just that lady that is all that. Like you're a mom of one, and then you're also an entrepreneur. You have your business, Manessa collections, good stuff, bags, and dresses. And also, you are an entrepreneur. You fly a lot. Go back to Indonesia when you're needed. And suddenly in a few days, when I texted you, hey, can we meet? Oh, I'm in Singapore again. Okay, that's fine. Like no time to meet at all. And you're doing your job, especially during your last few years as providing citizen services. Like, what is your day like? Like when you what time you wake up, what time you go to bed.
I'm not a morning person, but I can stay up late until
Everybody is
3
morning.
a.m.
That-
I think you texted me last time. I was still up at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. I already woke up and have a walk because I had to accompany the minister
yeah,
for
yeah.
the morning walk. So sometimes during the not so busy days, I'm quite relaxed. I always oh okay. I always like to balance my life.
Okay.
Meaning, uh, anytime I can, I always have coffee,
Okay.
or I go lunch, or I go dinner, or just hang out, duduk-duduk gembira, not dugem, duduk-duduk gembira with my friends, and talk about not so important things, because that keeps my life balanced. I like to be surrounded, and I like to be surrounded with many people, because then I can share my stories, and I also can listen to their stories. For the business part, I have my staffs. I have two staffs at in Jakarta. They take care of that small business, not so big. We just an UMKM, so it's okay. It's still manageable. Um, but I wake up. No, yeah. I don't wake up very early in the morning. But yeah, and sometimes during my break, I go back home and see my daughter, my baby. And after that, when I go back to my home, if I go out, then I'll bring her along too. So yeah, that's just yeah. I don't know. I've been doing this for a while,
So
so
you
I
get used
don't
to
really,
it.
yeah, I don't really think it's a challenging part to do. And I think the most important thing is when you work with your heart, you don't feel tired. Yeah, of course you feel tired sometimes, when life is tough, when it's just not your lucky day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
that's when the cry comes in handy. Yeah.
yeah.
All the stresses.
Yeah, and of course that's when you cry. Sometimes you talk to God, and to curhat because
Yeah,
you don't have anyone else more reliable than Him. Yeah,
yeah.
that's in my opinion. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Now let's just roll on to the question and answer sessions. Everyone still can ask their question to us here. Well, basically to each other. I'm just gonna moderate the questions. The first question we have from the Madam President herself, Ibu Tunjung, Madam Tunjung. Please unmute your microphone and raise your question.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was a very amazing story.
Yeah.
Basically, I have two questions. First, how does our government guarantee security for our diplomats abroad, especially in conflicted countries, or probably like you said, when dealing with such dangerous cases, probably dealing, including the mafia, maybe for example, like human trafficking or narcotics. I wonder how they guarantee you security. And then the second one, what kind of lessons learned that you can bring to your life as a diplomat uh, from your experience as an official interpreter? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the first question is about how the state guarantee the safety and security of our diplomat. Of course, in dangerous mission like in Syria, in Libya, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, we have our security put in place, security system. We have lots of security guards. We have the armored vehicles so that we can travel safely. Um, and if there is something happen, then um, the state will, of course, guarantee the repatriation of the diplomats. But usually we are the one in charge with saving our Indonesian people first before us. So but um, up until now, I think we have been taken care well by the government, especially for those who are assigned in conflicting areas. If mafia, I don't really see um, uh, the conflict for example, for human trafficking. It's not really us, it's the government, it's the government where we work, for example, in Malaysia or in other countries. It's more to them than to us because our engagement is more to the Indonesian side, I mean the Indonesian people, the Indonesian citizens, not to them directly. So I think in terms of the threat or such from mafia, we don't really experience that. But in conflicting regions or conflicting countries, of course, we have the security system in place. Yeah. And the second question is, what are the lessons learned that I learned from being an interpreter? One, this is also the thing that I always say to everyone. Your attitude determines your altitude.
Oh,
Um,
that's a good one.
yeah, I think for the past 6 years, I really learned about self control, how I can behave properly in terms of our most important persons, yeah, the president and the first lady. I don't talk much uh, unless needed or unless they ask. Uh, I learned to keep their secret. I learned to be trustworthy at the same time. And I think those are the values or those are the principles that build a good diplomat as well. So yeah, I have a lot of exposures and pressure, but that also really teach me that when you are in a big pressure, you cannot crack. You always have reasons to be calm and to be content and to smile, and that really helps. Sometimes in your work you have a lot of things going on, you have your work dynamics, things changes most of the time, and you cannot be panicked because everything will have their own solution, everything can be solved. And that's what I learned the most from being interpreters, because I am always um, under pressure and under big pressure, but I learned not to be panic, and I learned to be calm and wise and patient, and also solve things in a peaceful manner without grasa grusu, kemana kemari, kesana kemari, because it doesn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If that answers your question, Mbak Tunjung.
Okay, thank you so much, Mbak Tunjung. Now we proceed to the next question. It's from Bu Iin, Indrejati Martini. Ibu, if you are available to turn on your microphone and camera, please do so and raise your question. Silakan Ibu Iin, or if you want me to read your question to Mbak Ica,
Okay, thank you.
please,
Uh,
Ibu.
Hi, Ibu.
I'm sorry, Mbak Ica.
Hi,
Uh,
sorry.
yeah, this is about my doctor experience. At 2018, she tried to join foreign ministry, and he passed 5 level tests, and she finished the last test by interview. But unfortunately, she doesn't she can't join to the foreign ministry, but she don't set she didn't set uh, because because she said to me uh, that the career in foreign ministry to be a diplomat is very long time. What about your opinion? Thank you.
Ibu Iin.
Thank you, Ibu, for the question. I think what your daughter said is right. Being a government employee, of course, we have a very long, long winding road. We have a very long career path. Even me, after 10 years, I'm still a staff. Yeah, I used to be a head of a section. I don't know when I'm back whether I'll get the another position. But of course, being a government employee, you have to realize that you have a very long career path, and um, that is also taught me about patience, because I have to be very patient. But what I can say is, being a diplomat or getting into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I think for me is more about garis tangan, because I know I have friends of mine who are smarter than me. I am sure, but then they also couldn't pass the last test. And one of my I have one junior that time, and she asked me question. She personally reached out to me and asked, Kak, why am I not accepted? And yeah, we talk, heart to heart, and I said, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you fail. You are very bright. You have a big prospect, And career is not only, being a diplomat. You can go and, spread your wings at another job or different position and different job. And now he excels very well. He is one of the right hand of one of the governor of one of the province in Indonesia. And I told him, you see, you don't become a diplomat, but you excel very well in your job right now. So it doesn't matter, Ibu. I mean, for me also, I think I am fortunate and I am blessed. I can pass the test, but I know that there are a lot of people out there who are very bright and they cannot join because somehow they fail at the last test or maybe at the third or the fourth. But it doesn't matter because that doesn't stop you of being a diplomat. Even when you work as at the custom and excise office, you can still be a custom attaché, right? Attaché keuangan in some of our missions overseas. So it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ibu Iin.
Oke, thank you Mbak Ica.
Thank you, Ibu.
Makasih Mas Tri.
Yeah. And then we'll
Iya, makasih ya.
Oh, baik Ibu, thank you very much for your questions. And then we're moving to Ibu Titi.
Oh, hi. Hi, Mbak Ica.
Hi.
Yeah, hi semua. Hi all. I want to ask you that, wait a minute. Maybe some of us have a passion to be a diplomat. And maybe the other ministry have a passion too to be a diplomat. So is there any possibility for other minister to be transferred to foreign affairs ministry? That's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ibu, for the question. I think this is related with our regulation about ASN, yeah, aparatur sipil negara, because now we have the condition of lolos butuh. Lolos butuh if you want to be transferred to other ministry, but maybe Ministry of Foreign Affairs is a bit more particular about it, because if you want to become a diplomat, then you have to join the junior diplomatic training, and it has stages. So me, after I go back to Jakarta after this, I'm going to have the mid-career diplomatic training, and later on I'll have, if I stay at the ministry, I will have the senior diplomatic career training. So we have different stages of diplomatic training. So when it's quite, I think it's quite difficult if you are at the position of staff, if you want to join the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but maybe it is more feasible if you are at the position of Echelon 1 or Echelon 2, because you fulfill the administration criteria. Yeah, but yeah, if whether it's transferable or not, I don't know. But what I assume is Minister of Foreign Affairs is a bit more limited in terms of that transfer of staff from one ministry to another. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bu Titi wants to transfer to Foreign Affairs.
No, of course not. No, Mas Titi, no. I just want to
Curious, yeah.
Mbak Ica or Mbak Cacanya Mbak Iin just want to be a diplomat, and I think, is there any possibility from Indonesian Bank Central of Indonesia can be transferred to another ministry like that? I'm too old to be transferred to another ministry.
No, we are still young at heart.
I'm happy here and my hometown.
Okay. If I may add to what Icha has already said, like previously, Icha mentioned that even we in customs, we can experience, becoming a diplomat once we are, taking the career track to become the customs attaché. At the moment, we have 4 positions on 4 different missions. The first one in Singapore, second one is in Tokyo, third one is in Hong Kong, and the last one is in Brussels. So I think the opportunity to at least replicate the life of a diplomat it's there. It's widely available. Just making sure that you're building your track up to that position.
Right.
All right. We're going to the next question from Leah. Leah.
Yes. Okay. Baca, I heard previously that you said something about keeping yourself content, like keeping your work and life balance and everything in that. So far from your experience, I sense that there must be so many pressures you've dealt with, and that must be pretty stressful as well. Me myself is not very good in dealing with pressure, so I like some cheat sheet. I'd like some secret from you how to keep yourself sane in between that much amount of stress. Thank you.
Great life of Icha.
No, I cannot say that this is a cheat sheet for you, because what works for me does not necessarily works for you. But what I sometimes you just need to step back from your life, meaning from your all the hingar bingar of work, and sometimes you just need to find your own way to cope with yourself. So sometimes when I feel that the pressure is too high, I'll just withdraw myself for one day or two, just to list. For me, I try to list down again things that make me feel grateful. So yeah, so sometimes I just need to calm down, and I try to remember again why I'm here, why I am put, for example, why I am put as an interpreter. I always remember that I am nobody. I am anak daerah. I come from very far region from Jakarta, and I've made this far. And this is something that I really have to be grateful for. Of course, maybe the prayer of my parents, yeah, and also my pambawaan. I always smile. Maybe that's why people like me. But sometimes I also cannot stand with the pressure. But that's when the time. That's the time when I just try to step back. I try to do my own activity, things that I like. Sometimes I shop. Sometimes I just go and have coffee at coffee shop, and just explore, see things, see people walk around, and just try to list down things that make me feel grateful. And sometimes it gives boost my confidence again to get back on track. Now I have my baby. I have Abel, so that gives me more reason to feel grateful. um, I also now I try to do cycle, and sometimes I walk. So just just do simple things
New
that you
hobby.
like. Yeah, just do simple things that you like. But remember that there is no challenge difficult enough. Everything has solution. Everything has the way out. So you know don't feel afraid, don't feel too much pressure, because it will make you stressed, and you cannot be stressed because I believe for you too many people rely on you. Yeah, so yeah, it's good to just have yourself back and just try to gain your confidence. That's what I always do for me. Maybe it works for you, maybe you have different mechanism, but you also have to try to find the way to um, get back all the confidence that you need to be on track again. Yeah. No, I'm not a motivator. Yeah, I'm not.
Thank you, Ma.
But I hope that's hopeful, useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is useful, and not to mention having a very long late night chat, just like we had in Sydney up until 2
Yes,
a.m.
yes, 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 yes. That's why. Oh yeah, ini this is one more thing. Yeah, every time I have my friends coming to Singapore, I will not mind to stay up late. Sometimes don't sleep, because sometimes that's what we need.
Yes.
That is to recharge our soul. So every time my friend ring me, Icha, I'm going to Singapore. Okay, when will you come? I'll try to make time. Sometimes I work until 9, but after that I'm free, and I'm free until, I don't know, until 5, until 4. It's okay, because sometimes it really gives us fresh air. Sometimes we are too much stress. We have too much stress at work, and sometimes we need to have release, and that's my release.
Okay. I hope that answers, Elia, yeah? Okay. Now, I'm gonna give the last chance to last person to ask questions if there's any before we finally conclude this talk this afternoon. Is there anyone? Probably from the gentleman.
Jenny, where are the gentlemen?
Hello. They're sitting in silence, impressed, like, wow. Okay. But can I ask some questions about that though? Like maybe this can be the last questions. Is it a male dominant job or a female dominant job in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as a diplomat?
For the past few years, it's already balanced. It's a
Okay.
balanced composition between male and female. When I joined the ministry in 2010, it was 44% female, and
Okay.
the rest is male. And there were years, I think 2 years back or 3 years back, where it's more female than male.
Okay.
So it used to be a male dominant job, but now it becomes a balanced female and male job. And that is why my ministry, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, also try to put in place policy and regulation that enable female to have more conducive working environment. Like for example, we have daycare at the office, and I think we have more tolerance to female working, especially when they have babies or little children. And sometimes a diplomat also marry a diplomat. So we have now a more loose regulation about the posting or assignment, because it used to be that if one person is posted, for example, if the husband is posted, then the wife has to join. But now they can choose if they want to be posted as well. Then the ministry will try to accommodate by giving them, relatively close posting. For example, I have two friends of mine now. The wife is in Copenhagen in Denmark, and the husband is in Hamburg, which is only 4 hours by driving. So yeah, I think
That's
the world is changing, and so is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Our minister is female, same
yeah.
as your minister, and that really affects in the daily operation of the ministry. And I personally hope that with more female in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we will have more policy that pro women and pro diplomat mom.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The reason I asked the question because we also have here Bu Iin or Ibu Indra Jati Martini. She's one of the advocates of gender mainstreaming policy in Indonesian customs, particularly. All right, then that will sum up the talk that we have as well as the questions and answers. Too bad, but we actually have a limited time that we have to end it somehow. I would like to thank Icha. I've learned a lot during this almost 90 minutes talks and discussion. I personally take away one of the line that I love the most, that your attitude define your altitude. You have your freedom to determine what you want to take as a takeaway or a lesson to learn from this inspiration talks. I hope that we manage to inspire you guys and you get to carry these values with you to your professional life or your own life and this lovely evening on the weekend. Now, I would like to share the opportunity to the committee or Ibu Tunjung to officially close the session for the 8th episode of Inspiration Talks with Indonesian Customs and Excise English Club or English Community. I forgot, sorry.
Thank you, Teddy. So you are part of our community actually, but you forgot. It's okay. So thank you, Mbak Icha, and thank you, Teddy. I guess if I can quote, experience is the best teacher. And I guess it also applies to other people's experience to learn. We can learn from others as well. So from today's inspirational talk, Mbak Icha, uh, we learned that communication skill is very important in all jobs, but it is not only about the language that we possess, like Indonesian or English, but although it is also important, but it is more of the way we carry ourselves. Like Mbak Icha said, that smile all the time, and and also how we control ourselves, like the way we keep our secret. We don't talk if we are not allowed to, uh, so we can fit in the environment wherever we are. And also the second one is the time management and to balance with the heavy pressure. So thank you so much, Mbak Icha and Teddy,
Thank
for
you. The pleasure is
yes,
mine.
for a fruitful conversation. So it was absolutely worth to enjoy in this lazy Saturday afternoon. Mbak Icha, do you have any closing statement, or do you have any like motivation or messages for the audience?
Of course, thank you very much for inviting me. And I think we'll learn together. I mean, I'm sharing this not only that I can inspire, but I can also inspire from all of you guys. And yeah, I that's always my line. Attitude determines your altitude. So it doesn't matter if you're smart, if you're clever, if you don't have the attitude, then you'll just fall. And that's very important in our life, not only for our boss, not only for our peers, but also to ourselves. Yeah, I think that's all, Mbak Tunjung. Thank
Uh,
you so much once again for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for being in our CEC's inspirational talk today. And also, I would like to thank the organizing committee. This is all women's women's organizing committee. Wow,
Mas
women's.
Teddy, Bu. Mas Teddy included.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Teddy. Okay, and also our active participants, Bu Iin, Bu Titi, and also I saw like Pak Doni, and also Pak BW. Okay, all of you that I cannot mention all of you, but I'm very grateful that we can join this inspirational talk and be inspired by uh, the conversation, and also from all the questions and all. Bu Iin, do you have anything to say? You keep your promise. You promised to come, and you join us today. Bu Iin?
Oke, thank you Mbak Tunjung. Thank you Mbak Ica, Mas Teddy.
Ibu.
Uh, yeah, I'm at Lampung, so I can join this Picon. Thank
Okay.
you Mbak Ica.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you, Bu.
Thank you for your support to CEC Bu Iin. And also, I would like to announce our next session. I think we have Farin here. Farin, are you still here?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, our next inspirational talk is going to discuss what millennials view on working at customs and excise. We have Farin Tiara here from Regional Office of Sumatera Bagian Barat. Farin, are you still
Yeah.
here?
She is my member, Mbak. She is my member, so
Oh,
I
okay.
don't
We
see.
in. Wow.
she's here. Yeah. Yeah. With Dinis.
Yeah.
Dinis. She joined here
Okay.
today.
Yeah. So I think you have very talented members, Bu Iin. So don't forget to join us in our next session. Uh, and I think to end this inspirational talk, how about taking a group photo? So please activate your activate your video so that we can see your best smiles. Leah, could you please take the photo?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
On your count, Leah. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anyone
Uh,
else who wants to open their video? Okay, I should just count. 1, 2, 3. Say cheese. Yep. Okay.
okay, is that enough?
Yep.
Okay, so thank you very much. Hope that you have a great weekend. See you on our next session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ibu. Waalaikumsalam.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bye.
Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bye.
Thank